Welcome to this session. It's a follow-up session on how to do an architectural drafting for your site plan. In our previous session, we handled a location map. For this session, I want us to handle a site plan. Just reminding us again what is expected of us with regards to the site plan as a presentation drawing. We will use the worksheets, view maps, layouts, publisher, and KML. By now, the fact that we have used them on the location map, we have an idea of how we are supposed to use them. What do we expect in terms of soft copy deliverables? For the soft copy deliverables, we expect a site plan. Again, for me, the precedence will be laid on it fitting into an A3. The scale, let the size of the sheet make a decision on the scale. As long as it's an architectural scale, let's use that. And number two, we'll need a layout for our contours. Now, the beauty about the contour map is that since you had already imported it in our ArchiCAD file, we already have it. So those will be the two main things that we'll do right now. Should we have time, we'll see whether we can just prepare the deliverables for site model. Remember that we had already modeled. There's a bit of modeling for the location that still needs to be done, but let us see. Now, you remember that we had done a quick site in our location map. At this point, I want us to reconcile this and what we had already done in our model. For the model, remember that ideally the drafting should come before modeling, okay? So we just need to reconcile the two, and it's a straightforward thing. I just need to copy that and create a new worksheet and call it site plan. With this site plan, I can decide to paste it and I just leave it at the original position. So that if I want to relate it with my story, I just need to activate the tool for tracing, okay? So let me deactivate it. But at least now with this, we know the extent of our site. Is it so similar to what we place in the location? Let us just show the location. So as you can see, definitely, again, they're not linked, but let's just use the trace reference tool. I believe by now you know how to use it and you know how to move items. So just a question of dragging it from there to there. As you can see, they are not consistent. The location map is a bit exaggerated, but you'll understand simply because we are doing it at a smaller scale. Okay, so the rule of thumb is that if you are able to synchronize all this information from the first instance, the better. Okay, so in this case, allow me to use the site based on our KML file, the KMZ file. Okay, now we have an idea of how our site size is. And again, remember, though we have existing facilities, our scope at this level will just be limited to the new facility. Okay? At some point, we learn how to use the renovation tool, but for now, let it not be part of what we are handling. So again, The first thing that you must do is to determine what scale will this one easily fit in an A3. Okay, so right now it's a scale 1 to 200, so allow me to save scale 1 to 200. No, I want the view map. So let me just save there, site plan for now, okay? And again, I go to my layout. I can clone what I have. I can even clone that information. I can use the syringe to pick up that information. And then I place my site plan. I want my site plan to fit into an A3. So the first thing that I will do is to adjust its size. We might need to show a bit of the access road, though this one is interesting because it's part of a larger site plan. And you'll allow me to make 2 or 3 changes so that we understand what we are doing. Just specifically for this, it might not reflect the true things on the ground. So that one is to fit into an A3. So let me fit it. As you can see, it's giving us a scale of 427. So we can comfortably say that at a scale of 1 to 500, we'll be able to fit in our document on that sheet. So I'll go back here and change the scale to 500. So let me go back to my site plan. I will change the scale to 500. At this level, I can even create a new view map and call it site plan worksheet at 500 and 500. I'll create, okay? Now, the next thing that I need to do is that visually it's good if these drawings have some visual stability. So it will be good to align one of the sides, most probably the longer one, to the horizontal, okay? So you do that by adjusting the orientation. If I come here and adjust the orientation, with that, you can see there's a 1 degree, okay? And if you look at it, it's horizontal. So I can come and redefine, okay? The beauty about that is that if I want to revert to my original, I can. If I even want to put it at 90 degrees, I can. If I want to put it to what I'd put at 359, I can. You have all those possibilities, okay? So this being your site, at this early stage, I will want you just to do the basics on our site. Now, assuming that your site is based on a survey map, you'll find that that survey map has certain neighboring parcels of land, okay? And besides that, you'll find that one of the neighboring parcels is the road reserve. So in our case, our road reserve would be 9 meters. So at this early stage, I can clearly show my road reserve. Allow me to just cook in quote some parcels just for the sake of this presentation, but most of the times you'll not cook them simply because you will have a survey map that's guiding you. Let's assume that that's a neighborhood on that side. And then again, as I've said, this one I'm just simulating, but in most of the times you'll have them based on a survey map. You'll not just wake up and do the subdivisions as I'm doing, but this one I'm just doing for academic purposes only. So let's assume that those are the immediate neighbors. We might need also to indicate the ones on the opposite side. Let me just put it that way there. Now, we have an idea of our site. Forgotten. Normally for a site plan, you must show all the neighbors on all the sites, okay? So let's just assume that here we had such a neighbor. Allow me not to go beyond this because subdivision is not part of our scope in terms of design, but I'm just showing, okay? So with this, we have an idea of how our site and the neighborhood looks like. So what we need to do is now to document. So there are a number of things that you'll have to document on your site plan. The first thing that you must always document is your road. Okay? In Kenya, I think by now, and I think I've shown them in previous tutorials, with a road reserve of 9 meters, most of the times 5 meters is left for the actual road, the road carriage. Okay. And then the 2 meters, most of the times it's balanced on either sides. So without contradicting myself, that one will clearly show our road. At this level, you might have made a decision on where your driveway will be. In my case, I want a driveway of 3 meters wide. Remember that this like a private residence. So if I put 3, even just push it to 4, but 3 will suffice. The position will be influenced by a lot of factors, but for now, allow me just to place it just like 4, 5 meters from the boundary there, okay? And then from my driveway, we can make it how many? It's huge, it's almost 20 meters. So allow me to put a provision for my parking. Let me just put for 4 vehicles. Once again, these are not things that I'm guessing. By now, I believe you have done a lot of analysis of these facilities, so you know how they work. And then maybe we need a provision for turning. Now, we have put 10 meters. So with a spacing of 2.5, and good to go. So that's spacing that way. So you can see I already have an idea of how my parking looks like. I believe by now you know the rules of thumb of how driveways meet the main road. Most of the times you'll have a chamfer or a fillet. So let's put a fillet of, let's say, 2500. This other side will also do the same. Okay. By now, I think you know very well that in this space here, you'll have a culvert. Let me just center it. And by now, you know how a culvert behaves, but allow me for the sake of time not to show everything. That culvert, definitely you'll not see it, so it's dashed. Can we get a better dash? The one that it's not so much spaced. You cannot get it better than that, but I believe by now you know how to create your own lines, okay? So, as you can see, I'm just doing some basic drafting and I'm just placing what needs to be placed. So we have our parking. So by now, maybe you had already done a design and you know the extent of your plinth. So I want us to show the extent of our plinth. In our case, let's work with a plinth of around 9 meters by 15 meters. So maybe that one shows where our residence is. So we already have an idea of those basic things that we have in our building, in our site, okay? So what we need to do now is to finish up the documentation. So the first thing that you must always put in your site is the dimension of your site, okay? So we need to dimension that. Sorry. By now, you should have developed your standards for dimensioning. Now, as you can notice, the dimension is in meters. Ideally, for the site plan, dimensions are usually in meters. Maybe you'll want to go an extra step and change the dimensions to 2 decimal places. So I'll come and change there to 2. Okay. I can update or I can stop. So maybe if these are my settings for dimensions, I can say Oyuga site plan. So with that dimension, I will lose nothing by updating right now, so that such a setting does not get lost. But I'll now put the other dimensions. Now, there's a setting that you can always make it horizontal or not. So for me, I don't want to make it horizontal, so let me leave it that way. So as you can see, I've already shown the size of my site. The second thing, I will show the area of my site. Now that I have that fill, I just need to show the area. There it is. And deliberately move it downwards here so as to minimize distractions. So my site is that much. Well, now I believe you know the difference or the relationship between square meters and acreage. Okay. What other dimension do I need to place? If there are angles that you need to dimension, kindly dimension. Okay. Well, at least we have an idea of the full dimension. The next thing, we need to take care of all planning issues. By now, you are aware about building lines. In our context, the build line should not, the building line here will be 6 meters. So you need to indicate them. And you can give it a different type of line type. Mark with a dot and dash. This side, especially in Kenya, this will be around 2400. Again, these are things that you must be aware of. Planning requirements vary from place to place. Even in Kenya, they vary from county to county. So you must know what is expected of you, okay? Allow me to also put this last one here. The back one, because of time, allow me not to place it, but the process is just the same. So that will have indicated the billing lines. You can even label them. So I can label this one. Label this one. So label this one. Note that my label is not perfectly right angled. That's an issue that I can resolve here. So I just need to put us exactly on 80, but I think part of it is the orientation that I've given it there. So that's 2.4, okay? So we have put our billing lines. Now, we need to add value into this site. And adding value means now introducing those powerful photorealism techniques that can help us have a proper idea of what we are looking for, okay? So First of all, we can start with trees. For trees, we have two options. The first option will be to look for a top view image. So let's just go look for one. So I'll just do one. Tree top view. And as you can see, you have various types. So for now, allow me just to take this one. And since it's for academic purposes, allow me just to use it. I'm using it for academic purposes. Now, this tree, you must know its size, okay? What's the average size of a tree? 6 meters, 10 meters? You are the one to confirm to me, okay? So once you have that tree, you just use a drawing tool and place it. Let's just look for it. Here it is. We zoom it out. Okay, there you can see it now. Depending on the PNG type that you select, at times if you put a transparent background, it might sort itself. At times you might be forced to just go through the boundary, okay? But in my case, it has sorted itself. So I just need to place it. So maybe this is an important tree that we normally sit on when you want to have some outside shade, okay? But the key thing, what is the size of the tree? So you must be knowing these things. So in our case, this tree is 14, maybe I feel 14 is huge. So I'll make it 8 meters. And so on and so forth. So by doing this, you'll be able to plant various trees on your site. The key thing is that there must be variety. You cannot just have one tree on the site. It's like it's a plantation, okay? So we need to see variety in your work. You can see you have various varieties. So I've shown you how to place a tree. You'll just do the same for the shrubs. If you have shrubs, come and pick a shrub. You see, like this one is of a different color, which looks interesting. Maybe that interest will make me want to place it, but it's not so clear. So you must get images that are relatively clear, okay? But most importantly, they need to be top view, okay? Are we lucky this time round? Yeah, we might be lucky. So let me place a shrub. So it's just a question of scaling. The shrub cannot be the same size as a tree. So I have to make sure that even when placing it in terms of scale, it is quite small. Okay. Again, just like that other one, you make sure that the transparent background is shown. Then let's bring it to the top. Okay. Then let's, this one cannot be more than 1 meter. So there it is. Okay. So in terms of scale, you can see how small it is, okay? And maybe by having a number of them of various sizes, should be able, okay? Only press that you can see what's happening. So in that case, you have to take your time and cut the outline. Just do a small portion, just cut the outline so that you just have a clean edged image of a shrub. Allow me just do that portion. So you need to do that one all around, so at the end of the day, when you place it, you have very sharp edges. So now I cannot place the two. Okay, so at least you have seen, or you have known how to add life using trees. What else can we add? We can add cars. So let's add a car. Once again, let's just pick that one. That AVI file, it might not be compatible. So at times in such a situation, see, it's purely for academics. So my screen grab can help me quickly get a copy of what we are looking for. So you just use the same technique to place items on your site. See, that's huge. Don't know whether the background will be made transparent. Let us see. But what I'm very sure of is that its width cannot be that big, maybe maximum to 1800. So that are times against me, but when you have these kind of situations, you have to take your time and cut off those parts so that they do not look funny in your layout, okay? But with that, I've placed my car. Now, the other main thing that's remaining is our surfaces, okay? Our surfaces, remember that you had created a number in term one. If you can retrieve them, the better. Let's see, do I have any? I don't have any surface there photorealistic that I can use. So I'll quickly create a grass surface. So again, I'll come, say grass top view. And as you can see, we'll get varieties, okay? So it's a question of you choosing which one you want. Maybe for me, that it's a bit better. Will I be allowed to get it for free? I don't know. It will have the attributes, but that will work fine. So I have an image for grass. Thank you, FreePic, for that. I'll want to quickly create a cover fill. These are things that we did previously, but we lose nothing by quickly creating one. So let's say new. We know that we want to create grass, and we know that it will be an image. So if I say okay, so maybe grass. Okay, maybe that will work for now. Okay, I will need to browse my grass. So most probably I will add because I've just downloaded it. The only thing is that I did not save it, so maybe it's saved as by the default. Yeah, there it is. As I've always said, you need to be slowly creating your library of these things so that when you need them, you don't struggle to create one, but rather you just use them. So for me, the motif is around 5 meters. Again, now that one, I'm just basing it on my experience. And I need to use that form of mirroring so that if I look at it, we don't have disjointed connections. So I'll work with that. And if I say, okay, I can change this and I can deliberately make it a cover fill and go for my grass. Oh, I did not change. So allow me to quickly change it right now so that we don't lose focus on that part. Small surfaces, fills. Let's go to our grass. We forgot to mention the type. You see, you can use it as a drafting. You can also use it as a cover. Okay. So if I say okay, if I go back to my settings now as a cover, I can get my grass. There it is. So if I say okay, it will automatically change. Okay. One thing you'll notice that the grass is coming out as strong. So at times you might need to subdue it. So how do you normally subdue? This is a very critical, important process. Let's subdue an image with you here so that when you have to subdue them, you don't get stuck. So for us to subdue, let's just bring the grass again. There are various softwares. Photoshop can help you do those things quickly. But for some of us who are not competent in Photoshop, even Archicad itself can help you. All what you need to do is to overlay a fill. And in that fill, you use drafting option and you use maybe, let's use 75% and make it white, transparent. You can see what happens, okay? You can see what happens. Do I need it subdued more than this? If I want it subdued more than that, I can create a fill of even 90% and do the same. But the most important thing is that once you have done that, just need to use the sniping tool again and pick up your motif. So with that motif, let me save it. Allow me to call it grass 2. And I'll follow the same process of creating a fill. Allow me then to clone this. So I'll call it grass lighter. And I will now change this. It is, use the same 5,000. And all the factors held constant. I'll just want to drag a copy of this first. I want to temporarily retain it so that we see the difference. I want to change this one to grass lighter. You'll agree with me that this one is more subdued and this one is not screaming. So as a result, we can see the various things that we have on site, okay? And then I'll want to do the same thing for my driveway. So for my driveway, I'll just talk about paving. Now, as you can see, I have various types of pavings. Allow me to use this. If I'm able to get this one at a bit, some bigger, whatever, appreciate it. There it is. We'll have a little bit of issues. Maybe this one, I might not use this one for now because of time, but the key things that I can pick a pattern. I can pick it from here. Why not? Let's give it a try. I can pick it from here to here. So let us save it. We'll call it paving. Don't know what my photo is doing there. Anyway, this is good. You know me now. Now, I'll follow the same symbol. Let me place it. And then I will want, before I do so much, I will want to subdue it. This one, because I really want to have a proper motif. I'm very sure. So there. So as you can see, that one subdues it. Now, what I need to do is to get my motif. The motif is from there. Somewhere there. I hope it will perfectly get it. Nevertheless, that and that. Okay. So let me zoom into that. Okay. Now that I have those two, I will need to snipe. And for this sniping, I have to be careful. Unlike the others that I'm doing without so much care, this one I have to be very careful. And I have to make sure that I'm sniping where I need to be sniping. So I need to be sniping it from there up to there. Definitely, as you can see, 2 or 3 things will get lost, but not so bad. Let's work with that. Some there. As you can see at the bottom edge there, we have some things that are not well reconciled. Let us use that. Assuming that this paving is around, anyway, let's first of all save it. We can discuss it here. Assuming that this paving from this block to this block here is 150. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's around 600 by 600. So I can save it. So I will come here and I'll want to create that fill. So let's just create that fill. I can even still clone the grass that I created. And call it Cabra Lighter. Okay. Now let's I think by now you have noticed I like my names being in capital letters. It's just a preference. It's not cast on stone. So I'll come and change the image by adding. We have an image. I might want to see the view to be very sure of what I'm picking. My location. Let us see the view here. This is what I want. We saw and we agreed that 600 will surface. So if I make it 600, you'll see there are 2 or 3 things that are getting lost, okay? Let me just try which mirroring option will be far much better. All of them have their strengths and weaknesses. Maybe let me work with that. So if I say, okay, I've already created a field for my Cabral area. So I can come and confidently place that field. For this field, I don't need an area. So I'll remove the area. At this point, I can even change it to Cabral. Okay. Remember that for your fields, you must start with your surname for the sake of ownership. That's just for classwork. For your own practice, you don't need to do that. Okay, now you can see my car has gotten lost. So because this one is hiding also the things, I can take it backwards 1 step. Can also take it backwards again. So you see with that I've been able to pick up everything. Maybe for my Cabral paving, it's just limited to this point. Allow me just to use a black fill for now for our, just for the sake of time, but you can still go and create an asphalt or a tarmac road, just like what you have done, okay? So there it is. I can still take it a little bit lower. Or I can raise these lines so that they can be seen, okay? So with that, at least we have an idea of what we are supposed to have. The last thing that I want to place is my compass. Remember that we had placed it previously. There it is. And now the last thing that is remaining is just labeling of spaces. So call this one main house. I can deliberately decide to contrast it because as you can see, it's black on black, nothing can be seen. But if I decide to make that font color white, decide to have my parking. So for parking, I can actually contain the black. So members, as you can see, within a short time, I've been able to create a site plan. Okay. It's not so complete because of the size and time, but at least you have an idea of what you're looking for. Once I've finished it, I can either redefine that or I can save a new one, okay? So once I've saved it, this one, I think we are supposed to have changed it to site plan. But 1 is to 500. So let's go back and now place our site plan. As you can see, it is presentable, okay? That reminds me, there's something I forgot. I forgot to write the various LR numbers of the neighboring units. Let me even first of all place my site. There it is. Because once I've placed it, it can help me see what extra work can I do, which one can I ignore. I can decide to push the road downwards. This one, I can push it up there. And so for me to be able to finish up the work without having major corrections, I can open it, the layout as reference. So as you can see, that layout as reference, I can move quickly and take that one beyond there, and I can take that one beyond there. I want it beyond our edge, okay? I can take my fill and pull it beyond the edge. Okay, allow me to label or just write 01.001. I prefer them in black and white. So let them be 6 millimeters black. Let me use the trebuchet font. Again, it's just a question of preference. They are not cast in stone. So maybe this one, my .002. This one will be 003. Again, I'm just putting random numbers. Most of the times, these ones, you look at them closely, you just place what is written in the survey map. But for my own sake, allow me to don't forget to label the road. Let me call it Makuyu Gitamayo Road. That one I would prefer it being a white colored font, so that when we are making it, placing it there, you can always make it legible, readable. If you don't want it to be read that way, you can place it that way. The choice is yours. But remember, yeah, it's within my site. So with that, I can update. It's always, you lose nothing by updating. Okay. So let's look at our site plan. There must be a setting that we did not adjust. And this setting always gives us problems. Must always be auto and stored, okay? So that it automatically updates itself. So as you can see, that we are done with the site plan. Maybe the only thing that is remaining is the title. So let's put a linear title. Assuming all the factors are okay. The thing that I want to change is the size between the drawing and the title. Just like it at 0. So members, with that, I will have done my site plan. Okay, And I can see everything is pretty presentable, apart from these edges because I did not have time. But for you, ensure that you cut those white contours off. But overall, we have a site plan that we can vouch for, a site plan that we can work with. Now, with that site plan, we can easily publish, okay? Remember, we are done the publishing. We can redo the publishing again by just using the organizer. And what will happen is that using the organizer, I will come and add the site plan here. And using the organizer, I'll still come and add that site plan here. So as a result, I can publish two documents simultaneously. I will publish my PDF and my BMX file, okay? So again, I will select the selected and then I will publish. Let's see the results after publishing. So it has finished. If I want to check, I can check. But for me, I believe everything has been properly published. The only mistake that I did not change I will not call it a mistake, but what has happened is that it has overwritten the files that I previously had. So let me just close all of them first. And then start again for clean slate. Let's just go and look for them. They are sharing the same folder as this. And for the location. If I try getting hold of them, you see I still have them. So what has happened, it has updated what I previously had. So this one must always be clean. If you don't want to overwrite what you previously had, maybe you have made changes that you will not want to overwrite, then you change the name of your file, okay, under the publisher settings. But for now, this is called location map, but if you open it, it will give me my location map and it will give me my site plan, okay? Let's open the BMX. If you open the BMX again, it gives me my site plan. It gives me my location map. So members, as you can see, you just need to understand the process. And once you have understood the process, it should be a very straightforward thing, okay? It should be a very straightforward thing. So at this level, we should not have any problem in terms of documentation. Okay, now for the BMX, I'll want to do a transfer. When we talk about a BMX transfer, basically, we are trying to, just a minute, I'll want to publish it online. I'm trying to see how I can publish it online. And for you to publish it online, you must always connect seeing a bit of a problem. maybe allow me to publish it in our next tutorial. I think our graph is soft, whatever is down. So allow us to publish in our next tutorial, but at this level, you should be able to draft your location map. You should be able to draft your site plan without any challenge. So once again, thank you. I hope to hear from you very soon. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.